We as human beings need to do better. There is a lot of people that will pray for my downfall on this earth. And if that's the type of person you are, then go ahead. I won't stop you. But I also think if you're the type of person to throw malice at someone, then maybe you are the one that needs to self-reflect. This story is not a happy one. It's one of thievery of human rights, gender identity, and post-traumatic stress. This is the story of how I, Charlotte Donnelly Blue Lennox, was homeless for 3 weeks. Hi there, I have not uploaded in 7 months. Oopsies. Yeah, there's good reason for that. So, as you've read the title and in my intro, I was homeless, and I want to make this video about it because this experience, from my research, I have learned isn't unique. This experience has taught me how corrupt some people are and how the system is failing us. The only reason why I'm sitting here in this, I'll be honest, remarkable flat is because I'm a fighter. And that's why I want to make this video. Because I imagine that there's maybe people out there watching this, maybe in similar situations, and they don't know their rights. And it will also explain my absence, and also explain a lot about what I've had to go through. And honestly, this video will be the ending of a chapter in my life. Trigger warning for this video, I'm going to be getting into some pretty heavy topics. For example, I've been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. Not happy about it, but I have it now. And it makes sense to why I do have it. I have seen some terrible things in this society that I don't wish upon my worst enemy. And I feel like this video is going to give me some closure. So yeah, I suppose we should start at the start of this story. On the 4th of July 2024, 2 years ago now, I graduated to get my degree. It is the best accomplishment I've ever done in my life. I came from a background where it was unheard of to get a university degree, and I was the first one in my family to get a university degree. And I'm still really proud of the fact that I hold one. It's a privilege to be able to study at a high level, and I don't take that privilege for granted. I wanted to do something with that position I had. I wanted to be a primary school teacher. And for lack of better words, the primary school teaching dream is dead, at least for now. I could always go back into it if I really wanted to, but I've seen a lot of the things within that, let's call it an industry, and I had some very volatile things said at me in that industry, especially as quite an openly queer person. I respect myself too much to put myself through that, which I think is a damn shame because I know fine well I would be a brilliant teacher. I don't even think it's the kids that are the problematic ones. It was the staff that started to bully me. Apparently, I'm not gender inclusive. That was a quote that was said directly to my face. I literally have dyed hair and pronouns. What on earth are you talking about? But anyway, the primary school teaching dream is dead. But I started that dream moving to the south. If I could go back in time and say to myself one thing, it is do not move to the south, Charlotte. I abandoned everything for that dream. To be a teacher, that is. I really miss air. I I really built myself up in there. I came to terms with my identity. I started to get songs that got over 10,000 streams that kind of freaked me out, hence why I sort of backed away from fame a wee bit. But I used to do busking and I used to do all this, and then I did a university project where I worked with primary school children, and that's what helped me get into the teaching profession. And I sacrificed everything to do that teaching profession. But the place I was living in the south, it wasn't healthy for me. I don't want to say too much about my experience in the south because this is getting published on the internet, and if you know me personally, you'll know what I went through down there. But on like a general basis, south of Scotland, very conservative, very scary for a queer individual. You get rumours spread about you. You you meet some you meet people that will take advantage of you. And I know that now. I didn't know that at the time. But that's all I'll really speak about the matter. Well, when I lived down south, that is. But I needed out. So I left the south and I moved to the capital city, being Edinburgh. Now, I like Edinburgh. It's a big city. It's far bigger than I'm used to. I am from a little tiny village and I moved to a smaller town for my degree. Edinburgh's, lack of a better word, fucking huge. And it's amazing because I don't stand out here. Like, I can have dyed red hair and just be like everyone else. And that's what I wanted to be like everyone else. I know I never probably will be, but it's fun living here. There's things I get to do, and I enjoy my time here. Well, as of recently, I've been really enjoying my time here. But when I first initially moved to this city, it was under the pretense that I needed to get out of the south of Scotland. And I had a friend. This is hard to say. And I had a friend. And for the purposes of this story, we're going to call her Evelyn. Because, in my day-to-day life, I call her now the evil landlord. So, evil Evelyn, evil landlord? Put it this way, I don't want to dirty this person's name because, honest to God, I don't think they realised what they were doing, and they were... I don't want to admit this online. I don't think they understood their position in life. And that's fine because they never really needed to. But they tried to get away with things. This person encroached on my boundaries constantly. I'm gonna have a drink of coffee. This person encroached on my boundaries constantly. And it wasn't good for me. This person was good to me at first. But then I started to notice just little things. And something you need to realise about this friend, she owns her house. She has a mortgage. Which, I don't know if you know about today's economy. Well done, you have a mortgage. That's genuinely quite impressive. But it's because her parents bought it for her. Now, I have no qualms with that. Like, genuinely, if your parents want to buy you a house, take the opportunity, especially in this day and age. And I have no qualms with her for that. What I do have qualms is holding it over me. What I do have qualms is saying that it's not my home. Fair enough, it's your flat and it's your mortgage. But if I'm living there, it's my home. And that is something I don't think they ever got. It got to the point where they were bursting into my room constantly. And it scared me. Considering what happened down south with me, I started to really have to put my boundaries down. I really had to make them know that I'm not comfortable with this. And again, please do not badmouth this person because I don't think they knew what they were doing. There's part of my brain that that literally just thinks that she has so much ignorance. This is really mean to say, but she was just really ignorant to the fact of what is comfortable for a normal person. And that's fine, but then she started to have the legal battle with, like, oh, this is my house, I can do what I want. And that's not how the law works at all. Evelyn, it's not how the law works. It's a basic human right to privacy. Under the Human Privacy Act, 1988, Article 8. Privacy is baked into our fucking, not constitution, that's America. It's baked into our law. But yeah, and I was dealing with that. I had to live like that for about a year and 5 months. And that's where I was living. Some of the covers I did, you'll probably see on screen right now, I enjoyed my time there. I made the place, my room, feel like mine, and I decided to try and give the teaching one more shot. And it was going good. It was going great. Uh, until my health took a nosedive. If you keep up with this channel regularly, you'll know that I had to get my wisdom teeth removed. That wasn't fun. I explain it in this video here. And my health just took a really bad decline. I started to get really bad dizzy spells, and I started to really just get bad headaches, and I had a really bad throat infection. It was horrible. And it couldn't have came at a worse time, because it was like during my first placement on the postgraduate course for the teaching. And looking back, I think it was my body trying to tell me something. With recent diagnoses I've had, I think that possibly could be the reason. But anyway, moving forward from that, me and this volatile person, Evelyn, we got into a big fight. And I finally started to respect myself again. I saw it as a privilege to live in Edinburgh, so I didn't really want to talk back. I lost respect for myself in that sort of sense. And one day I just sort of snapped. And by snapped, I mean I didn't bow down to Evelyn. The way our friendship worked was she would do a heinous thing to me. I would suck it up, and then she would apologise. That's not how apologies work, in my opinion. An apology works by admitting your faults, changing your faults, and then moving on or try to do better. Evelyn never tried to get better, or at least from my perspective, never tried to get better. Arguably, she only really got worse with time. I finally just put my foot down. It was a very simple, silly fight. She was putting something away in the kitchen, and I was helping her. And this is the bit that blows my mind to this day. What I was doing was an act of service to help her put away something in the kitchen. And I was met with this absolute malicious voice saying, "Charlotte, don't do that!" And it somewhat broke me. Well, not yet. I didn't break yet, but it scared me. I did. I don't like being shouted at. I don't think anyone likes being shouted at. I try not to shout at people. I am a very... I think if you know me personally, you'll know that I'm quite a passive person. But I respect myself for it. I try and be as eloquent as possible when I have a disagreement with someone. That sometimes gets taken advantage of, but you live and learn, I guess. Anyway, the day after, and I knew how this rigmarole was going to go because me and Evelyn had done this song and dance hundreds of times before. She came to my room door, and she knocked on it, fair enough, with her puppy dog eyes and said, "Charlotte, I'm sorry." And I'll be honest, I just wasn't having it. she'd done some bad things to me. I won't get into it at all on the internet because it's not for you to know. And trust me, she has been reprimanded, so do not worry. Or at least she's been reprimanded by me. I wrote a very big scary letter. And I just thought enough was enough. And I just said, could you just leave me alone, please? So I did that. I didn't forgive her straight away. And this is the one time I did not forgive her straight away. And you know what she said to me? And these words are seared into my brain. Actually, Charlotte, I'm not sorry. What the fuck? What do you mean you're not sorry? You can't apologise and then take it back. Then that's what broke me. My brain shattered. I don't even remember what she said afterwards. All I remember is repeating okay, 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 okay. And that was a panic attack. I knew it was a panic attack. I've had panic attacks before. That was a panic attack. And I've done some really stupid shit when I've had a panic attack. So, but now I've got a decent grounding mechanism. After this panic attack, I thought no more. I am not tolerating living like this. So I kept to myself. I didn't talk to her. I didn't do anything. I just sat in my room, watched TV, tried to get on with my life, see where I was going with this PhD program. Just getting things sorted in living well for myself. Now, another thing about Evelyn. She did not give me a contract when I moved into the flat. That is illegal. And it's, well, no, it's not illegal, but it is against my statutory rights as a tenant or a lodger, depending on how you want to go about it. We had no written agreement, and that was fine, even though I begged for months to get something written down on paper, but whatever. But then that got weaponized against me. And she made a contract. Out of the blue, out of nowhere. Something I've been wanting for years at this point. Finally, one materialized. Another sip of coffee. But the contract she gave me, it wasn't. It was just completely incomplete and it was wrong. And if I signed it away, then I'd be signing away a lot of my rights as a human being. And I said that to her because, you know, I'm starting to respect myself again. And then she made me homeless. She gave me a notice to move out. I became manic. I kind of went a bit crazy, I won't lie. Literally, as soon as I got that notice and I had a free day, I just took everything that was mine out the flat. And trust me, or at least out of like the communal areas. And trust me, the flat looked so empty, and it weirdly gave me a bit of joy. It kind of like proved to me that it's like I was the one that was giving that place character. Before I moved in there, it was an IKEA showroom. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I took all my stuff and I moved it into my room. And over the next month and a bit, I got everything together and I got everything packed away and I moved stuff around. Only recently I just got my bike back, so that was really nice. Had my bike away at my mother's house, we'll get on to that. I just did everything I needed to do. And then I got in touch with the council. And this became another battle. Now, I feel that it's important to mention at this point in the video that, as you know,
I'm transgender.
And being transgender, as many of you know, the NHS waiting lists in Scotland are horrible. Sandiford's waiting list is something like 225 years I've heard quoted. I've also heard quotes of 80 years, 70 years, I don't know, just a bunch of quotes. One of the benefactors of me moving to Edinburgh, I'm actually at a different clinic now. I was originally on the Sandiford clinic, probably for the rest of my life if waiting times are anything to go by, but I had an opportunity in Edinburgh to finally get my estradiol legally. Well, not that getting my estradiol was illegal before, but it was a lot more grey, and it was the best of the options. Like, put it this way, if your government doesn't want to give you healthcare, where are you going to get it? I have no qualms getting my healthcare through grey market means, let's call it. So I was doing that for years, but now the fact that I'm at the Chalmers Clinic, I'm getting them prescribed by the NHS because I was already on the waiting list for 4.5 years. So I took the opportunity. I made the best out of moving to Edinburgh in the situation. The problem with that, I'm now trapped in the Edinburgh and Lothian region. Now, it's not a terrible place to be trapped and to live in. It's a nice enough place. It's very busy for my liking, and I hope one day I will be able to move out of the city, but it's nice for the time being in this era of my life. I just feel that it's important to mention that because I probably could have had other options and not become homeless. But if I wanted my healthcare, I kind of had to become homeless. It's warped. It's really warped. It's crazy how that's allowed, in my opinion. And through some of the research I've done, about 1 in 6 queer people under 25 have experienced some sort of form of homelessness. What on earth is what on earth even is that? What? So, and that's the one reason why I want to make this video. My experience isn't unique. I'm sure maybe other queer people have went through different experiences, but this is allowed, and it's crazy in my head that that's allowed. Anyway, so the day comes, the day I get kicked out, I get kicked out. And now, by law, my landlord has to keep my stuff for a minimum of 6 months. That is Scots law. That is the rule. Here is the legislation. She basically tried to steal my stuff. Like, if you make someone homeless and they have nowhere to go, what on earth are you meant to do with the stuff? I have still yet to find people that can to answer that question for me. So I just sort of took the law's word and left my stuff there. It's not something I wanted to do, but I kind of had to. I didn't have any other choice. And then I was homeless for 3 weeks. These 3 weeks, I believe, have fundamentally changed my character, perspective, and existence. Never did I think that someone that has a first class degree would ever have to experience homelessness. This is not the world that I was promised, obviously. My degree isn't necessarily the be all end all of what makes me me. I knew that my degree probably wasn't going to end up with a job because I was going into a different job market. I was going into education afterwards. Then the education thing fell through, and now I have a degree which is really useful, and I do not deny that that degree has changed my life for the better. It's helped me create amazing songs. It's helped me network with a bunch of amazing people. I have gotten to tour the whole of Scotland because of the opportunities of that university degree. And I didn't get the degree for the piece of paper. I got the degree for the education, which I think is something that people are forgetting about degrees. Like, you're not doing it for a piece of paper, you're doing it for the life experience, and you're doing it for what you're going to be taught. Don't go to university if you don't want to learn. That is just my general opinion. Because if you don't want to learn, there's no point going to university. That's just my opinion, and you can probably find another way of working out through life. I went to university to be educated on how to make songs and how to write and whatnot. But never did I expect that homelessness would be on that same resume of life. And the reason I became homeless was such a volatile reason. It's not because I was ever late on rent, and it's not because I didn't pay my bills. It was because of someone, for a lack of a better word, immaturity. I will never forget that first night I became homeless. I I was suicidal. I don't want to admit that on the internet, but it's true. And I've had episodes before where I've been suicidal. That's all I'll say on the matter. But I didn't act on it. I know better now. I know not to act on it. and I called my mother, and I was saying really, really bad stuff about me. Like, oh, what if I did this, or what if I just did this with this person, or what if I just never came out as trans? My life would have been easier as a boy. I would have been miserable if I took any of those comments to heart and tried to act on them. And it was just silly thinking, and I just sort of wanted it to end. I did not expect me to be homeless. The first night I also became homeless. I was catcalled. Where the council put me, I'm just going to describe as a junkie hotel. Now, the right wing will say that these are like migrant hotels and junkies don't do that and blah blah blah. No, it's one of the this is actually one of the reasons why I do not like the right wing's opinion on this. People will say that, oh, the right wing are coming here and they're taking our flats, they're taking our jobs. No, they're not. I don't know what immigrants you're seeing, but I've saw full families in the same environment that has no windows, with children that are 3 to 7 years old, living in absolutely heinous and appalling conditions. And there's wars going on in the world, people. Of course they're going to want to come to different countries. What are you? If you were coming from a war-torn country, I think any semblance of a roof over your head, you would like that, wouldn't you? So I do not dog these people for coming here. I also do not dog the fact that they maybe don't have the same rights as me. But that is no excuse to be treating them and me and the homeless population like absolute fucking dirt. I was catcalled. I didn't have a window in my room. Here's photos, which is a fire safety risk. And the reason why the council have managed to get away with this is because there's a housing crisis on. Scotland has declared a housing crisis as of 2023. And the cities that have been hit the worst with it are Glasgow and Edinburgh. Guess what one I'm in? So basically, I had to boil down between two options: healthcare and homelessness, or have a roof over my head, and a nice environment, to be fair, and not be homeless. Because I did have a place to go, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, it hurts so much seeing these families of people being put in the same environment as junkies and ex-addicts and people that will openly catcall you just entering the building. That catcall is it's burned into my brain. It's like tattooed into it. I can't forget it. I hope God to one day I do. I just don't think I'll ever forget that first night. Everything else after that night was a blur. But then we've got some hope. Don't worry, we'll get into some happier stuff now. You will notice I'm not in a junkie hotel. I'm in a rather nice flat. And basically, getting this flat took a lot of fighting. This is what the council call a temporary accommodation. Now, with the housing crisis that's on, by law, yes, it's a temporary accommodation, but it's looking likely I will be staying here for about the next 4 to 5 years. And honestly, I do not mind staying here for the next 4 or 5 years. It has everything I need. There's a lovely wee kitchen. I've managed to get my childhood CRT back. This is amazing. I've got my record player, I've got my consoles, I've got a nice TV set up. Maybe I'll do a flat tour sometime. Let me know if you're interested in that. I'll post on my second channel, Blue Box. But this is a really lovely flat. And it took a lot of fighting with the council. By law, they had to give me something that was more suitable within a week. It took 3. Now, I am not denying that there's a housing crisis. There is. People will blame 100 reasons. Blame immigration. They'll blame the fact that people are buying up too much stock, or they'll blame. One of the folk that I blame is people that own multiple homes. If you have multiple homes, please sell your second home. There are people that are homeless. Come on, you don't need the extra income revenue. But I get it. People like that, they don't know any better. I've seen it firsthand with my previous flatmate Evelyn, but they just don't know any better. They've never seen the other side of life. They've never seen the other walk of life. And I hope maybe that this video is a bit of an eye opener for them. Because now, where does that leave us? So I've got this lovely flat. It's brilliant. Took a lot of fighting to get it. By law, I was meant to get it within a week. Did not get it within a week. Took 3 weeks. And with the cat calling, what Evelyn put me through, what happened down south, what happened when I was 12 years old. I mean, you'll know if you follow my YouTube page that my dad passed when I was 12. I have a lot of trauma. A lot of trauma. And it's not like this Gen Z trauma where it's like, oh no, someone's been mean to me. No, I have actual trauma. Like, it's diagnosable. I now have post-traumatic stress disorder. Not happy about it, but when this was all kicking off, literally every single symptom of PTSD ticked the box for nearly every one of them. I had really bad tremors. Hell, actually, making this video, I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm scared to make this video and post it because I don't know what people's reaction will be to this. I had really bad tremors, constant nightmares. Every time I close my eyes, it feels like I'm seeing a flashback. And then also, this is a new one. The doctors are thinking, with how my health declined when I was doing my PhD, they are thinking I have some sort of autoimmunity condition. Now, nothing's been confirmed yet. It's all up in the air right now. The doctors are just working on a bunch of theories, but the thinking is I have an autoimmunity condition. And the reason why they're thinking this now is because back when I was experiencing this high stress, there was a problem that developed with my arm. Now, this arm, my left arm, which is really annoying because it's my dominant arm, but this left arm, it works somewhat, but I can't actually move it upwards. It's really bad. It's not like this arm where I can go like that. This arm, it's 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 broken. It's not, well, not broken, but like the bone's not broken, but it's not healthy. I basically have really serious nerve damage, and it's something called brachial neuritis, which is big doctory words for very bad nerve pain. And I'm not happy about it. I do a lot of things with my hands, and it has to be my left hand. It has to be the dominant one. I mean, I'll be honest, I kind of grew up ambidextrous. My theory is I'm left-handed, but I was taught to be right-handed, so I've ended up ambidextrous. But it's really annoying. Like, for example, getting this coffee cup. It's actually quite sore to put it up to here, and you'll notice, like, a normal person would maybe go like that. I can't do that. I need to, like, hold it close like this. Good example, innit? And some days, I can't even lift anything heavier than, like, a can of iron brew with this arm. You know how embarrassing that is? How humiliating it is you can't even lift up, a can of juice? It's horrible. It makes you feel really small and bad, and it adds to the list of, I mean, if you're me, it adds to the hundreds of list of diagnoses you've got. And I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy that the world sees me as this basically invalid. Like, I want to do stuff with my life. I'm a successful musician. I'm a really great teacher when the teachers allow me to be a great teacher. And I want to inspire joy to the world, whether that's people relating to me or whether that's educating the next generation. I want to be the person that does that because my life has been very volatile. I have seen devils and demons. I've seen that they walk among us. And I laugh. I smile. And that's not something I feel a lot of people can do, especially with the way the world's going nowadays. This social media ban, the days after COVID, the wars that are going on, banning transgender rights, which again, you can't really do that because there's a such thing called the Equalities Act of 1998. But trust me, I've gotten very good at law. Maybe I should become a lawyer. Nah, I'm not doing that. I want to inspire joy, and I'm not doing education anymore. So some good news for my adoring Blue Linux fans. I'm going to be going back to content creation. And I'm hoping that this video is kind of like a jump start to that, to kind of boost my creativity and just get back out there, you know? And then also it's a good message to just say to all my friends what I've been through because I've not talked to a lot of them in a few years and I'm not happy about that. But that's because I was putting my emotional intelligence into people, for lack of a better word, were quite controlling. I'm someone that's lived a very colourful life. I've been diagnosed with PTSD, gender incongruence, which is a stupid diagnosis. You can be attractive. Dyslexia, part deaf in my left ear, and probably a whole host of other problems that the doctors want to figure out about me. But those those diagnoses is not the be all end all of who I am. I'm transgender, sure, but that's one part of me. I have come to learn that I'm really cool and I have a lot of respect for myself and I battle injustice when it's there. I can't save everyone, and that's something I've had to come to terms with. I hold the weight of the world on my shoulders sometimes, and yeah, it's a good thing to do, but you need to keep yourself right as well. I can say with my whole heart that I have tried my best. I will never fault anyone for trying their best, even if it's the only thing you know, even if your best isn't good enough. I will never fault you for trying your best because I tried my best and I ended up in a really beautiful flat. But that's because I fought for it. And if you're in a similar situation, fight for it. There's better things along the horizon. Yes, maybe the laws are not as good as we'd like, but it doesn't mean that you don't deserve better. You deserve the world. Same way I deserve the world. Everyone deserves peace, quiet, privacy, and comfort within their own life. And that's something that I'm learning to recognise every day. It's taken a bunch of therapy and 2 antidepressants to figure that out, but it's something I'm learning every day. Before I end this video, I want to give 2 shout outs. First one is a charity in Edinburgh. It's called the Rock Trust. They have really had my back in all this. They are a charity that specialises in youth homelessness for under 25s, and because I'm under 25, I fit the criteria, and they have been nothing but supportive and helpful throughout this whole journey that I've experienced. So if folk on the Rock Trust are watching this, hi, you have my endorsement. You guys are awesome. Thanks for helping with my mental health. And the second person I want to thank, and I never thought I'd ever be saying this, my mother. Now, my and my mother's relationship hasn't always been perfect. But with what happened down south, I got back in touch with her. And the difference is between what she was like growing up and what she's like now is that she apologized. I don't think people realize how much a simple apology can go. And the difference is she acted on the apology. She changed her conduct. She is now more accepting than ever of me being trans. She even dyed my hair recently. Like, I only got this done yesterday, and it's red now, and I know I don't really suit the Blue Lights branding, but, you know, it's red, I look cool, I look like a hothead, I'm like Kai from Ninjago. But yeah. But she has been an absolute champion throughout all of this. She's the one that kept my bike safe. She's the one that helped dye my hair. She's the one that, when things were getting really bad at that junkie hotel, I had a place to sleep that was safe. So, Mum, because I know you're watching this, let's be real, thank you. And also thanks to my broski Callum. You've probably seen him on this channel before in the early days. Big Callum K, my brother Callum, he's a sound lad too. He's he's brilliant. Callum has got what I like to call the uber autism. He's got the mega autism. Uh, that's so mean to say on the internet. No, but he's alright with me saying that. But he is genuinely brilliant and he helps take my mind off the sort of things that are way too heavy, and like, you can have a conversation with Callum about anything. And he'll listen to you. He's brilliant like that. So yeah. this is where I am now. I have my own place and look forward to more content in the future because now I actually have the capability to do it. I have the finances to keep me going for a while. And I'm now at a point in my life where I have so much freedom and I want to use that freedom correctly. I want to give my opinions in my stories. I want to share my legacy that I've lived with in my life. I am now at the point in my transition to where I was looking up to the people that were at my point in my transition when I was a baby trans. And if I am that for you, that really warms my heart, like genuinely quite a lot. So thank you for watching. Love you.